Hello there. I'm Professor Tamara Tabo from the Center for Legal Pedagogy at Thurgood Marshall. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to use WordPress to set up a basic online student portfolio. For the next set of steps that I'll show you, you do need to be at the web address signup.wordpress.com. And you need to be at a screen that looks like this. So WordPress will ask you to select a blog address and name, etc. Although they do assure you that you can always change those bits of information later on. You're also able to sign up for additional blogs if you want to do that as well. So as far as Prep for Law is concerned, if you've already selected a blog address and a blog name, all of that is fine. You will want to make any adjustments according to the guidance that I'm about to provide. And if you haven't created a blog at all, you haven't selected the address, you haven't seen this page of the sign-up process, then you are welcome to work right along with me and make your selections as you go. Also, if you already have any blogs or any websites with WordPress.com, recall that you can always add another site onto your same account. So if you would like to do that, you can as well. And that's actually the version that I'm looking at right now that you see on the screen, because I have several WordPress sites listed to this same account. So once you are on this sign up page, the first choice that you need to make is what you want the blog address to be. Now, as I've indicated, for the Prep for Law summer program, you absolutely do not need to pay WordPress for anything. I am going to show you how to do everything that you will need to do for the program in the freest of free versions of everything at WordPress.com. However, there are, of course, always upgrades, paid upgrades, that if you choose to select them either now or later on, you're certainly welcome to do that. But assuming that you are just going for that free version, then the address of your website, of your student portfolio, is going to be whatever you put here, .wordpress.com. So, for example, I put Prep for Law here. I actually already own tamaratabo.wordpress.com, as well as the registered domain tamaratabo.com. I strongly encourage you to select a blog address that most closely matches your full professional name. I understand that that task is rather easy for someone named Tamara Tabo, such as myself, and a whole lot trickier if your name is John Smith. However, if you are curious about what some of the variations are, suggested variations, please see the guidance that I provide in the I believe it's the first learning module in the Prep for Law online course, guidance about account names and email addresses for law students and young lawyers. And I sort of run through some tips about how to select a name when the most obvious choice for you is already taken. So I suggest that you try your first and last name. If that doesn't work, try your first initial or your first two initials and your last name. Try all of those sorts of variations, but try to keep it as close as possible to your full professional name. So after you have played around with this a bit, you will finally have selected something that's available. And I'll show you what things look like if you're trying to select something that isn't available. So you can see if I were to write out Prep for Law, tabo.wordpress.com, it's going to tell me, sorry, that site already exists. But what I'm going to demonstrate with you for is Prep for Law this way. And as you can see, WordPress does give you the opportunity to register your domain name so that you would have prepforlaw.com or prepforlaw.net or org. And that is something that you can do at a later time if you want to do that. But in the meantime, you're going to have that WordPress extension. Still pretty intuitive, which is a good deal. So we're going to opt for the free address here. It's another separate step to name your blog. So this would ordinarily be an important creative choice. But for here, I'd like you to select something, again, that is as close to your full professional name as possible. So here, I'm going to title this demo site, Prep for Law Portfolio Model. And as the page indicates, you can change the title of your blog later. So don't really think about this too much. But more or less put, your first and last name, Tamara Tabo, or Tamara Tabo's law portfolio, Tamara Tabo's law student portfolio, whatever, but something along those lines. Now, as far as the privacy is concerned, of course, if you select viewable by everyone, that means that whatever content you put up on your website will be viewable on the World Wide Web to everyone who might access it. You can certainly do that. I think that's, you're probably not going to be too tempted to place any very sensitive content on your student portfolio here. But if you would like to choose the next option down, viewable by everyone, but blocked to search engines, you might consider that while you're working on your site until you get it in sort of tip-top shape. That just means that anyone with a link is able to access all of the content. But if someone, for example, puts your name into Google search, this site won't come up. People won't be able to find the site via search engines. However, you might, for certain content when building websites, you might want to select private. Now, if you select private, and that is okay, you will need to adjust some of the settings for your website during the Prep for Law summer program, because the pedagogy fellows, the Prep for Law teaching assistants, and I will need to check in on the content that you're putting on your website throughout the program in order to give you feedback about the work that you're doing. So while you can mark it private, know that you'll have to adjust some settings to allow, at the very least, us, the instructors for Prep for Law, to be able to access it. But we'll just go ahead and put viewable by everyone here. Now again, you can upgrade if you like, but what I suggest for present purposes is just select the WordPress.com beginner version, and if you find later that you'd like to upgrade. So after you have clicked the Create Blog button, you should see a page much like this, telling you that you have successfully created your site. And you've got several suggestions from the good folks at WordPress about where to go next. Your dashboard, which is sort of like your control panel in WordPress. You can change your blog description or permissions. We talked about the fact that those are always subject to change if you change your mind. And you can also change your blog's theme. And we'll talk a bit later on about themes for your site. But for now, let's visit your dashboard. So, as I said, your dashboard is sort of the back end, the development side, the administrative side of your WordPress site. And this is where you will go when you're logging into your account and you want to make any additions or changes to your site, when you want to play around with the appearance of the site, check out, say, your traffic statistics, all that good stuff. So I encourage you to explore some of the different menu options in the dashboard. There are far more options and settings and adjustments and tools that are available in WordPress, even just the simple WordPress.com that we're using. There are far more of that good stuff available in your dashboard than we could possibly expressly talk about during the Prep for Law program. So I encourage you to explore some of those resources and play around with it a bit, investigate, explore. You can't really break anything, so check some things out here. What I want to show you first, though, that is going to be important for your student portfolio is the Pages function. So if you're working along with me, go ahead and select Pages. And if you haven't, what I'd like you to do here is create some pages as I describe them to you. And then I know that you don't quite know what this is going to look like just yet, but trust me here. This is what I would like you to do for your student portfolio. So when you're on the Pages page, you are going to select Add New. And this is the screen that you will always see when you are adding new pages, very much like when you're adding posts as well. And I would like you to write on this page resume, or if you prefer, you can put CV for curriculum vitae, but most folks in law use resume. For now, we're not going to put anything on this resume page. We'll be gradually building the portfolio as time goes on in the summer, so don't worry about adding anything just yet. But after you've just named it, and that's okay, you can create the page with nothing more than the name. Oops. After that, you are going to, and I have to adjust my screen a little bit, over on the far right side, you should have the opportunity to save a draft. This will save your work, either of a page or a menu or a blog post, of course, so that you can come back to it later. Needless to say, it's always a good idea to save periodically if you're working on something big. But for us, we're going to go ahead, after typing in resume, we're going to go ahead and publish. Click the green Publish button. As you can see, WordPress has a default spell check. That's what it means by writing errors. So you will have the opportunity to view the page after you publish it. But for now, since I want to help you set up some of the basics, go ahead and click after resume. I now want you to enter Study Tools. Add a page, Study Tools. Don't worry about putting anything here. If you want, you can click Save Draft. This is often something that I do if I'm creating a lot of content on a page or in a post is, you never want to move on to the next step until you know you've saved your most recent draft. Not nearly as important when all it says is study tools. But then we're going to publish it. It's going to tell you that there are no writing errors found. It's going to give you the option to view the page, but we're just going to go ahead and add another new one. Here, we will create a page called Time Management. And publish. Add new. Add another page titled Courses. And publish. Assure that it's okay, that there are no writing errors found. And now I'm going to go ahead and view the page. So this is giving you a view of the page that you just created in WordPress. So you have the title of your site, in my case, Prep for Law Portfolio Model. And then you also, of course, see the title of the page that you just created. Now, this is a very bare bone. Play with some themes. So go to the My Sites drop-down menu at the top left and go down to Themes. Eventually. Available to you on WordPress.com are hundreds, if not thousands, of different themes. Each of them have different types of settings and different options in them, and so they're not all completely interchangeable. There are also both free themes, many free themes, but then there are also some paid themes too. And as with everything, I'm not going to ask you to make a purchase for any of the themes. There are certainly plenty of very good WordPress themes available for free. But you can always go into the themes menu and have a look, because there's some really cool options here. Let me show you a few different. We've been working in Eden. And one thing that you will find as you're looking around at the WordPress themes available to you is that obviously most of these sites have lots of images on them, right? I mean, lots of pretty pictures, not just simply bare text. And that is something that I think everyone should sort of aim for. We will be uploading at least one picture later on in the program. But I really encourage you to think about some of the visual elements, some images that you could add to your site that would make it more visually appealing. Just a few images goes a long way. And it's pretty fun, actually, to play around with that aspect of developing your site. But for present purposes, because I'm, again, not asking you to make any purchases, not requiring you to, upload a bunch of photographs, one thing I urge you to keep in mind when you're looking at themes is that some themes look really cool when you have images included, but they look incredibly boring when you don't. So a great example of this is actually Eden, which is what we have currently on that. This is the default. So let me show you, of course, this is how pretty it can be. But if you recall from our preview page, there were no images and the formatting. It's the same theme. It's just that in the places, in the placeholders, in the design, we haven't added any pretty pictures yet, so there's none to show. So keep that in mind, that there are certain things that will look great if you've got stuff, and not so great if you haven't added all that stuff yet. But here's a preview of another theme. Got all sorts of pretty options. Yeah, you'll be paying for that one. There are, in addition to some of these visual free themes, there are certainly some themes that are much more text heavy. And so if you don't think that you're going to be adding a lot of images to your site anytime soon, you probably want to select a theme that is sort of designed, is meant to look good with lots of text, and not something that's going to really be focusing on the pictures so much. So you've got lots and lots and lots of options here. Like I said, hundreds of them, and you should absolutely feel free to play around with it. One of the greatest things about a lot of the WordPress interface is very few things are permanent. If you change your theme, you can change it again right away and change it back, all without rebuilding your site. So all of those settings, like the pages and menus and content that you're adding, is automatically going to be transferred to the version of your site that's created when you pick a new theme. So you can keep all of that work the same, and just innumerable times, whenever the mood strikes you, play around with the theme, and it's super easy to do. I'm going to demonstrate for you one of these text-heavy themes. So again, this is something that you can add pictures if you want, but you don't have to. This is where your text would be. So when you've found a theme that you would like to try out on your blog or on your portfolio site, in the preview you'll just click use this theme. Now if you have multiple sites registered to the same WordPress account, it's going to ask you which site you want to apply it to. I'm going to apply this to my Prep for Law demo site. but you may have nothing else there. And of course, you can always start a new blog. Then click Activate. So you can buy additional options by paying for a custom design upgrade. You always have some sort of settings that you can play with in any theme, but custom design is always going to, of course for a price, allow you, say, a greater variety of fonts, a greater variety of colors, all that kind of stuff. But don't be immediately concerned with that. So if you've clicked Customize Your Site there, this is where you are going to see how the content that you've already created on your page gets transferred into this new theme that you've selected. And again, WordPress is going to save all of the pages and menus and work that you've already done, and you can just switch out themes and it will plug everything into a new theme. But so here's an example of what the portfolio would look like using this particular apostrophe theme. So if you recall, we created home, about, resume, study tools, time management, right? So those settings, those pages are automatically transferred to the new version of my site. Now, if you want to take a look at things look like, this is an example page, right? That's thing. Under site title, tagline, and logo, you can select in some themes, they allow you to enter a tagline, right? And a tagline is almost like a subtitle for your site. So, for example, we might say, a demo version of a student portfolio, right? And you can see that it's going to appear there. Not everything has the tagline option, but you can. And if you choose, you can add something that describes your site a little bit more. Again, keep it simple, keep it professional. So, for example, if you named your site John Smith or John Smith's portfolio, you might add as a tagline something like the online presence of 1L law student John Smith, or something like that, right? But keep it simple, keep it professional. In some cases, in some themes, you have the option of, for example, setting up a logo, and you essentially are adding an image that will, appear in a preordained part of your site, and it doesn't actually have to be a logo like a professional logo. It can be an image like a photograph, for example, a profile image. We won't worry about this option just yet, but if you feel like playing around with it, you can. Yes, I want to leave this page. I want to demonstrate for you a bit of how it looks to switch themes. So here is a different theme than the one that I'd previously been working on. Actually, I'll try this one. I like Saga. If you click preview for a theme after you've already chosen a theme, WordPress is going to let you try it on. And you can see how, you guys know this from being on the user side of websites day in and day out, that things like menus and pages and all those kinds of settings vary from website to website. And even though the concept is the same, the location and the design is different. And this is exactly the sort of variety that you are now facing while creating your portfolio site, is all of these themes have different sorts of options, and to a large extent, it's just a matter of preference how you want your site to look. So in this case, unlike the previous theme, the menu, we've got the About, the Resume, the Study Tools, the Time Management, but it is in a little menu bar, not over the top. But you can still see, if you were to click on Resume, what the page would look like. Adjust those colors and backgrounds. You can add a header image, all sorts of good fun stuff. But let's get back to the last bit of practical stuff I want you to be sure to do this weekend, as soon as possible. This I'm actually going to save and activate because I'm going to use this theme for a bit. I haven't published anything. I haven't posted anything yet. So it's got my stuff, but nothing on the home page. So what I would like you to do now is go back to Pages under the My Sites drop-down menu. And if you recall, we, in addition to About and Resume and Study Tools and Time Management, we had started to work on the Courses page. So if we go back to Courses, and let me again adjust my view for you. We are going to publish this page, but now when we add new, I'm going to do something a little bit different. If you go over here to Page Attributes, you'll have a drop-down menu under Parent that lists all of the pages that you've already created, right? So About, Courses, Resume, Study Tools, Time Management. We're going to click Courses here. That means that the page that we're about to create is going to be a subheading underneath the heading that we see on our site for courses. So it's going to be, a nested menu. And here, first one I want you to create in this nest of subpages underneath courses is Lawyering Process 1. And click Publish. I'm going to add new. Page Attributes, Parent, Courses, Criminal Law. Double check that we're putting it underneath the course's parent. Publish. Add new. Course 1. Courses. Publish. Add new. Contracts 1. Page attributes. Parent. Courses. Add new. Property 1. Page attributes. Parent. Courses. Now, after adding pages under the parent courses, we are going to add some pages within pages. So this is all to get you organized for what's to come. So we will start from here. You would just click Add New because you are adding a new page. But now, instead of adding under page attributes and parent, putting courses, we're now going to go through each of the courses listed. We'll start here with Contracts 1. And we're going to create several sub-pages within the Contracts 1 page. So the first will be called Notes under Contracts 1. Publish. Then Add New. The next will be Course Outline. Page attributes, parents, courses, Contracts 1. And then Add New. Syllabus. Page attributes, parent, courses, Contracts 1. And publish. So now what I would like for you to do is replicate that process with each of the courses that we have listed under courses. So we just did that for Contracts 1. I want you to proceed to do it for all of the other courses. So when you have successfully completed those additions to your portfolio, now we're going to click on View Page and see what some of these changes look like when published to the website. Now remember that your appearance will depend upon your theme, but there should be a menu somewhere, whether it's just straight across the top. And looky there, we have all sorts of good things underneath each of these, all the way down. And so you will have a number of different specific pages that you can go to. And depending upon your theme, there might be a drop-down menu for courses that takes you over to a horizontal menu. You guys sort of know how that goes. But those are the additions that I would like for you to make this week. In future class meetings and in future videos, we'll move forward with some additional changes to your site and begin to build it up. And make sure that you're, personalizing things and whatnot as you see fit. And I hope that this was fairly clear, perhaps even too clear, quite long. But I really wanted to just walk you guys through every step. So if you have any questions remaining about what I've demonstrated today, please just get in touch with me or with one of the Prep for Law teaching assistants, and we can make sure that you get to where you need to be. So thank you for your time, and I will talk to you soon. This is Professor Tabo, signing off.